wet and rainy Friday night, and I thought I'd finally get around to actually making videos about what I intended to make them about when I arrived in Japan a good 8 months ago now, which is namely living and studying in Japan. I've made a couple of videos in the last 6 months about general stuff in Japan, but I thought that today I'd actually, sit down and talk about what it's like to study at a university, at a rural university in Japan. I'm currently coming towards the end of my one-year exchange at Ehime University. I'm in the city of Matsuyama, which is the capital of Ehime Prefecture, down on the smallest island of Shikoku. And yeah, I just thought I'd share some of my experiences from the last 8 months. Basically, before I came to Japan, well, first of all, to give you some background information, I'm currently in the third year of my Japanese degree. I'm a student from Oxford Brookes University in England, and as the third year of our Japanese studies degree, we're required to go abroad to Japan to one of about 10 Japanese universities that we have exchange links with. So the rest of my cohort are off in Tokyo and Osaka. No, not Osaka actually. We don't have any exchange universities in Osaka, but Nagoya, Kitakyushu, Yamanashi, all over the place. But when I was deciding which university that I'd like to go to, I consciously decided to stay away from Tokyo and Nagoya and the bigger cities that we could have gone to. I don't have anything against the bigger cities, but there were two main factors in it, in my decision really. The first one being money, which was the big thing. I'm paying probably a third of the rent it would have cost me to live in Tokyo here in Matsuyama. And secondly, the big thing for me was I thought if I end up coming back to Japan after I graduate, which is very likely, considering my one marketable skill will hopefully be my Japanese ability. Probably 90% of the people who end up, or the foreigners that end up living and working in Japan, end up in Tokyo or Osaka or one of the big cities. So I thought I'd take the chance to sort of experience the other side of life in Japan. The second choice I put on my form was actually Nagoya, Nagoya University of Foreign Studies, simply because they give you a 60,000 yen a month grant, like scholarship if you go there, which would have been nice. But my first choice was Ehime University, and yeah, luckily I got in, and I've been here almost a year and really enjoyed living here. No, what I thought I'd talk about in this video was simply my experiences studying at a rural university. So Ehime University, it's a national university, which comes with a fair bit of prestige. Tokyo University, Kyoto University, the two big ones are both national universities. I mean, Ehime's nowhere near that sort of standard, but just the fact that it's a national university carries a fair bit of weight in Japan. When I got here, we had to, me and the other guy from Brooks that came here, we had to do a placement test and got put into the B and C classes. And which is what they did. Ida is the nickname for Ehime Daigaku, because the first kanji in Ehime is actually the kanji for love, which is also can be read I. But yeah, so we were placed in the B and C classes, which, in all honesty, without trying to sound like I'm bragging or anything, it was below our ability. Um, and so, in all honesty, my experience at studying at IDA, at least, this may not be true for everyone at university, studying abroad at university in Japan. I'm sure it isn't. I know it isn't from speaking to other people. But for us at IDA, the teaching has not been particularly stretching. It hasn't stretched us, to say the least. However, I've certainly found that it's been more than balanced out by the fact that living out here in the middle of nowhere in the Inaka, it gives you a chance to just to speak Japanese more, meet more Japanese people than I feel I probably would have done if I was living in somewhere like Tokyo or going to one of the big foreign universities like Kansai Gaidai that we also have links with. And so whilst I don't feel I've particularly picked much up from my classes studying out in rural Japan, certainly my experiences outside of the university, uh, just by merit of being out in the Inaka, has my Japanese has probably come on far more than I expected it to before I came out here. I suppose one big advantage to being at university out in a rural area is the fact that certainly the pace of life is well, I particularly enjoy the pace of life out here. I know some people find it a bit too slow, a bit too quiet, but I grew up in the middle of nowhere back in England as well, and I'm used to living in the countryside and living in Matsuyama. There's things to do, there's people to meet, there's plenty to keep you entertained, but certainly, during the day there's not so many distractions. It's easy to study, it's quiet, it's nice, and certainly I think that's one of the biggest plus points to studying in out in a rural location. So for anyone who might happen to stumble across this video who's thinking about studying in Japan and trying to decide where would be best to go, if you're lucky enough to have a choice, certainly that would be my biggest endorsement for studying in the countryside. Or it's not fair to say the countryside. Matsuyama's it's a big city. It's 500,000 people. It's far bigger than anywhere I've lived before. I've lived in Portsmouth and Oxford back in the UK, and both much smaller than Matsuyama, but it feels more countryside than it is. The pace of life is laid back, and it's nice, it's quiet, and the people are friendly, and it makes for an environment to study in. Yeah. What else? Certainly, as I've said, the cost of living is low here, and yeah.